Yeah, look, you win by 30 at home, and you defend pretty well. You rebound the ball pretty well. A lot to be pleased with. I thought we really took a step forward offensively tonight in terms of our ball movement and the ball not sticking, in people's hands for very long. We had 22 assists on 30 baskets, which is phenomenal. We'll take that every night. That was a pretty common occurrence with last year's team, but with this year's team, it hasn't been. So it was nice to see that because we talked about it. Against Fullerton, if we moved the ball, moved our bodies, made ourselves hard to guard, it should be a 20-plus assist night. And we talked about that before the game, and the guys went out and did it. So I'm pleased with that. I still got to figure out our turnover issues. We find, it's amazing. We just find new ways to turn it over. Like, we had one tonight where we wide open on a back screen, and we're not looking for the ball, and it goes out of bounds. Like, I've not seen a turnover like that, in maybe 15 years. I don't know. But, our footwork turnovers, we stepping out of bounds turnovers, all the things that we can correct. The good thing is that the turnovers we're having, we can correct them. And so that's obviously room for improvement. But we shot the ball well. It's nice to see Andre come out and make a few and get himself going, because we've been struggling from three a little bit consistently, but we got great looks.
You mentioned the defense, best defensive effort of the season so far, and then in the second half especially, what did you guys get done to really? Yeah,
I think we wore them down a little bit, Pat. I think it was part of it because, again, we're playing at altitude. They're coming from sea level. I know I talk about that a lot, but it's a fact. But then, I thought our depth really imposed itself on them. I really like the way we finished the game. As you guys know, sometimes when we sub at the end of games, to me, there are no garbage minutes, with this team and where we are, because we have so much inexperience on our team. Like, those last 5 to 7 minutes of the game are really important to us. Now I feel bad that we don't get our walk-ons in. But this is a year and this is a team where we've got to get guys minutes and get guys some experience, so that when the stakes get raised a little bit, they got a little bit of something to fall back on in terms of learning from the things they do well and the things. But I thought we finished really well tonight. Asan Diop deserves a lot of credit. Guy plays, what was it, almost 19 minutes, didn't take a shot. He's plus 25, leads us in rebounding. That is the epitome of being unselfish and being a team guy. And, you look at the stats, nobody's going to talk about that, but it's important that I mention it, because I think if we can have everybody approach the game the way Asan approaches the game, there's a selflessness about him, and he plays it extremely hard, and he's just a great teammate that we can all learn from. And I want our guys to understand that.
Nobody played more than 22 minutes in this game.
Yep.
How much were you able to use this game as a kind of experimental game with rotations and lineups and trying to get guys in a groove?
Yeah, I wanted to get guys minutes. Harrison Carrington is a good player. He did some good things when he was out on the floor tonight. Did some things that he can learn from. Just like everybody. Getting R.J. Smith minutes, getting Felix and Sebi minutes. They're freshmen. We got to get them. I look at Asan and Bangat. Dak is freshmen. They played a little bit last year, but they didn't get meaningful minutes last year. So we got a lot of returning guys and new guys that are inexperienced. Now, Elijah's got a lot of experience, and Trevor's got a lot of experience, and Andre's got a lot of experience. Maybe not together, but, again, they played a lot together. They played a lot together against Eastern Washington and Northern Colorado. So it was nice to see our offense take a step forward tonight when the lights were on, because that's the team that we've seen in practice that I mentioned. Like, I'd seen that in practice for the first, maybe not 30 practices, but certainly the last probably 10. But then the lights go on and that ball gets sticky and guys get a little bit trigger happy. But yeah, we wanted to play a lot of guys tonight. That was the idea going into the game, and we were able to do that.
Coach, on the flip side of your 22 assists, Cal State Fullerton only accumulated 4. What went into that effort on limiting them on moving the ball?
Well, going into this game, the number one thing on the board defensively for us is guard the ball. Now, I don't know how many we gave up in the second half, but in the first half, 16 of their 29 points were just guarding the ball. And this is a team that plays a lot of isolation basketball. They look to get downhill. They look to attack the rim. Coming into this game, they were averaging 24 free throws attempted per game. They got 17 up tonight, more than our 14, which usually doesn't happen at home. So, it was a big game to guard the ball. And when you play ISO basketball, you're not going to get a lot of assists. So it was a great game for us to learn on guarding the ball. I don't know how many points we gave up in the second half guarding the ball, but, against Eastern Washington, we gave up, I think, 16 points guarding the ball. Against Northern Colorado, 25. I bet we gave up probably at least 25, if not more, tonight. But that's what Fullerton does. So, you got to just play without fouling and keep the ball in front of you and contest shots. We knew that they would have trouble with our length, scoring over us because we have more size than them, and they did. So we just got to keep playing without fouling.
Compared to the last two games, tonight kind of felt like smooth cruising. Felt like you guys had control for most of the game tonight. How do you feel like this team is starting to mesh together and find its footing?
Yeah, I think, again, playing how you practice. Play how you practice. Like when you come out here and the lights are on, the stands are full, and the cameras are rolling, like you don't become a different dude. But we had some guys playing differently the first two games, especially on offense. So yeah, I think that's a step forward, and we got to build upon that. And our guys have to understand that's what's going to make this team good. It's not going to be one guy. Elijah Malone had 27 points the other night against Northern Colorado. Guess what? He had 9 tonight. That's going to be part of it. He was 3 assists, no turnovers. Played really within himself, and so that's what we all have to do. And if we'll all buy into that, this team's got a pretty high ceiling.
As you mentioned, there's kind of some weird turnovers tonight, but with Julian, a guy has the ball in his hands a lot. To have 4 assists, 0 turnovers. Good to see him have that kind of game.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I thought at halftime, I looked at Julian, Ruff, and RJ, and I think they all had 0 turnovers. Our turnovers came from, I think Trevor had a couple. I think Sebastian had a couple, but we had 8 in the first half, 8 in the second half, and I'm going to start naming these turnovers. Like, I think traveling's going to be an apple turnover, and bad passes are going to be a cherry turnover, and we got to come up with a lot of fruit groups because there's all kinds of we had some boysenberries out there. I mean, we figure out new ways to do it. It's unbelievable. But hey, we got to grow. We got to learn. We got to get better, and that's what practice is for.
So Sebastian's had a great couple of games coming off being a freshman and not playing at the collegiate level before. He hurt his knee in the middle of the second half. You could see him walk out. How do you think that changed how he was playing in the end of the second half?
I don't know. He banged his knee, and I'd rather have a guy bang his knee than twist his knee. So, yeah, he's a tough kid. Sebastian, the thing I love about him is he wants to be coached. He's unbelievably gifted offensively. I don't have to worry about talking to Sebastian about his three-point shot or his, ability to run the floor and score the ball and shoot the ball. Sebastian's really gifted there. What I've got to talk to Sebastian about is how to guard and how to rebound. And again, he had 2 rebounds in 18 minutes. You should have at least 6 rebounds in 18 minutes. So that's areas of improvement for him. That he's 6'10", he should be a great rebounder, especially on the defensive end and offensive end. So, to me, Sebastian's a guy that is important to this team because he can score the ball, he can shoot the ball. He's consistently shot the ball well from 3. Like every scrimmage we've had in practices, he can score the ball. We got to get him to defend and rebound at the Colorado basketball standard level, and then you're going to have a hell of a player in your hands.